Udah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to visiting lecture today. For everyone to those who has entered the room, you're about to begin, so please have a seat and make yourself comfortable. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Honorable Dr. Mamata Bhandar, PhD, as a Dean of Academic and Corporate Engagement Professional Codes from Manipal Global Next University, Malaysia. And a very warm welcome to all participants and students from STEKOM University. Is it indeed a pleasure to have all of you on this memorable occasion? And I would like to thank God for gathering us here in a visiting lecture program regarding unlocking the full potential of your education key skill to master. Before we begin, please allow me to read our agenda this afternoon. First, there will be a start class presentation by Dr. Mamata Bhandar, PhD. And finally, there will be a question and answer session after the presentation and continue with the brief for a photo session at the end. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we will start for this class today. We will deliver by Dr. Mamata Bhandar. The time is yours. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Novita. Hello, everyone. Very, very good afternoon to you all. Can you all hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Good. Thank you. Just give me a moment for me to share my screen and then we can get started. Now, if some of you are following us on YouTube, I request that you join in the Zoom session because this is fairly interactive discussion kind of session. That's how you'll get the most out of it. So requesting you all to come on to Zoom so we can chat and discuss on the session. Right. Okay, let me know when you're all able to see the slides. Okay, good. Thank you, Novita. All right, so we go ahead and get started. Thanks for the introduction, Novita. And the topic for today is unlocking the full potential of your education. And what are the key skills that you require? Now, a little bit about myself. Well, you all know that I'm the Dean of Academics at Manipal Global Next University. We are a bit different in the sense that all of our learners are working professionals. They have experience of about, on an average 15 to 20 years. So we basically teach adult learners. So I see, and I have taught in the universities as well. So I see how students finish their degrees and then come to the workplace. I do a lot of training in executive education. So I see students in the workplace, and then I see the working adults come back for lifelong learning or for their higher degrees. So keeping all this in mind, I put together this to help you all figure out what are the key skills that you can focus on for your own goal. All right? All good? Everybody with me? Audio, video, everything clear? If no, just feel free to raise your hand and you can use the mic or you can chat. Clear, thanks, Rajeshwari. All right, so what's the agenda? First of all, we'll talk a little bit about goals. And I'm not going the very textbook way of goal setting or anything like that. I'm sure you'll find plenty of that stuff on the internet. I'm going to talk a little more about what is the goal for you, a personalized, individual goal, yeah? Along the way, I do have a few activities that you can do right now, in a short way, but I'll also share the deck with you all to take home if you want to do these exercises later. Some of the exercises that I share, the responses to that can keep changing. So you can always do them later. You can share them with your friends, family. They're simple exercises for you to know more about yourself. Okay, so we'll talk about goal setting. Discovering yourself. What are your strengths, likes, dislikes, preferences? and so on. And accordingly, then, how can you use these skills to package yourself for the career you're looking for? Okay. By the way, I would really like to get to know all of you, and it's a small group here. So as I'm speaking, if there's something you're relating to, something you're not relating to, please keep typing in the chat. So that way I'm getting familiar with you all, and then the examples that I use become more relevant to you. Okay, good with that? You'll keep the chat going? Okay, good. So given that you will set your goal and find out a little bit more about yourself, we all feel we know ourselves, you know, until we get into these exercises and we say, oh, I never thought about it. So that's what you're going to do. And based on that, identify some skills that I feel are essential. Now, these are just what we are going to talk about today. If at any point you feel, ma'am, what about those skills? What about this? I want to be an air hostess. So what do I need to do? Feel free to ask, and let's discuss those as well. And that's why I'm saying this is a very interactive session. So you have to keep the chat going, right? And finally, the key concept that I want to leave you all with today is called personal branding. How many of you here have heard of personal branding? Yes, no, any reactions, anything is okay. You do? Oh, great. So I see one person saying you've heard of personal branding. Excellent. Okay, so that is what I'll leave you with. I will introduce the concept, but depending on the time, we'll see to what detail I can explain to you about personal branding, but I'll share the deck with you all anyways, and you can go back home, do these exercises, and build a personal brand for yourself. Okay, if you do not have it yet, please keep a notepad or whatever, however you decide to take notes. I know some of you take it on your phones. Some of you still prefer the traditional method of writing, or you would want to open another window. However, do take notes, because as I'm taking you through these questions, you may have certain points in your mind that you just want to know. So you can go back and see at the end of this session, this is what I learned. Okay. And like I said, keep the chat going. And if you want to speak, happy to give you the mic. All right. Now, first question for you all. What is the purpose of education for you? I'm emphasizing on that for you part, because everyone here has a different goal, and that's absolutely fine, right? So for you personally, what is the purpose? Is it career? Is it to earn money? Is it to become someone you want to become? You already know what you want to be. What is it? I'm going to wait for about a minute. You can type it in the chat, or you can speak. Anyone ever thought of this? Okay, wonderful. Sorry, one second. Novita, the participants can send messages to everyone, right? Or they can send messages only to the host?
Can for one and only to the host.
Ah, okay. Okay. Is it possible to change that or no? So everybody can see the discussion. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Kayla, thank you so much. You're saying so that we are ready to interact with life in this world. Fantastic. You're saying that through education, it prepares me to go interact with the world. Fantastic. If you ask me, I would say education gives me a choice to be who I want to be, a choice to do what I want to do, but not to do what I don't want to do. Also, that is important as well, right? Good, Rajeshwari. Education is everything for me. Through education, I can increase my value. I can be better at understanding everything because I have sufficient knowledge. It's a window to the world. So beautifully put. Yes, It gives you the knowledge. It gives you the confidence to go face the world, to be better at whatever it is you're doing. Excellent, so beautifully articulated. If the option is enabled, the request is for you all to send the message to everyone so we can all discuss. Okay? Anybody else, any other thoughts? What is education for you? It does not have to be the same for all. I'm repeating that. Okay? Okay, keep the chat going. Yes, it drives us to our goal in different ways, but that's what you all have said. It leads us to that goal. Okay, so now coming to that question. How many of you here know what is your goal for today? Remember, our life goals keep changing, right? There are new trends constantly coming up around us, and that could be changing. So how many of you here, now you can scan this QR code and complete the survey. Just complete the first question, please. Don't go beyond the first question. The other questions you can do later. And I can see your responses here. I don't want to share the responses with everyone, but you know, you can just complete it. So I see. But you can also put it on the chat, so it opens up the discussion as well. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to answer 3 questions, and the questions are on that QR code. Yeah, the first one is, I know what I want to be after I graduate, meaning you have a career goal in mind on a scale of 1 to 10. If you want, you can put the number here in the chat for me. All good? All of you able to access the QR code? Good. Already submitted. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay. Now keep that in your mind. So I see 4 of you here saying, you know, you have certain goals in mind, right? Now, what about those who feel, I'm still not sure, you know, I like this, I don't like this, but I still am not sure what I want to be. Is there anyone like that here? Novita has answered 10, 10, 7. Thank you, Novita. What about those that feel, no, I still don't know what my goals are? Is someone there like that here? And if that is the case, it's okay. It's okay, because you're right at that stage today where you still have an open mind. You're discovering yourself. You're figuring out yourself. You're figuring out what your likes and dislikes are. And by the way, it happens. I mean, in my case, I was trained as an engineer. And from engineering, then I went to industry, software, of course. But software. I was not working in engineering. And after that, I moved to education. So your career keeps changing. So it's okay if you don't have the goal yet. You can use these exercises and activities to figure out, to discover yourself and see what will be a nicer fit for me. I'm sure the university does have something like career counseling, and this is kind of aligned to that, but more from a viewpoint of what is it that the industry is really looking for and how your likes and dislikes can be aligned to that. Okay? All of you, please stop at question 1 and don't go ahead and answer the other questions. Yeah? Thank you. All good? Everyone still with me? All right. Okay. Yes. You can send messages to me however you want. Yeah? Great. Now, you know what your goal is. Some of you said you know what your goal is, right? Now, what do you think you need, or do you know what you need to achieve that goal? Again, you can put it here in the chat. Follow the scale of 1 to 10. Do you know what you need to achieve that goal. Some of you could have said, I want to be an engineer, or I want to be a pilot. Now, do you know what you need to do to achieve that goal? Or for others who are still not clear, to discover what my goal is. It could be a simple yes, no. That is okay too. Good. I see there are 23 of you all here. Now, I had this even later as one of the questions. We always start off by discovering ourselves. You agree? If I don't know who I am, if I don't know what I like or dislike, then it's very difficult for me to say what I want to do, right? Am I right? You'll agree with me? Yeah? Okay. What about likes and dislikes? And now you can go to the subsequent questions on the Mentimeter. Yeah? I'll probably open this up. I'll mention to you what it is about and give you all 5 minutes maybe to complete all the questions. Do spend some time. I know the questions are fairly easy, but they're also open-ended. So if you want some time to think, that's okay. I'll give you 5 minutes. Let me run through what I'm asking here. First is, who am I? In the sense, how will you describe yourself? Like in my case, I would say I am an educator. I like to inspire people to learn. I work with adult learners. I want to inspire people for lifelong learning. That's one way I describe myself. Likes and dislikes. Are you clear what you like and dislike? More in terms of profession and career. I mean, I can say 10 foods I don't like and 10 food I like, but that's not the point, right? From a professional point of view, I like working with people. I don't like working with people. I'm an introvert. I'm an extrovert. We know these as labels, right? But let's be clear. What is it that I don't like? Maybe I'm not comfortable with crowds. Maybe I love technology. I like figuring out new technology, trying out how can I use them, making my PowerPoints very interesting. I don't like writing. These are things. So think about these things and write as many as you think in the response to that question. Strengths and gaps. Have you ever thought? I know there are other tools on the internet called Strengths Finder and so on. But sit here today and think of, maybe you can't think more, then at least top 3. What are your strengths? It could be that I'm extremely analytical. I have a wonderful attention span, meaning someone's talking to me for 40 minutes, I can stay attentive. On the same side, you can say that's my gap. My gap is that I have a very short attention span, or that I feel my language is not that good, or I feel I'm not very good at math. I'm saying feel because you don't know the truth. Maybe you've just not discovered it yet, right? So what are your strengths and gaps? Related again to likes and dislikes. So think about that, okay? And finally, based on whatever you put there, you already know the goal, or you know more or less what your likes and dislikes. What are the skills you think you want to develop through the rest of your education? All of you clear on these 4 items that I have here? Yeah? And then let me know when you've completed the questions. Please stop at the skills needed question and don't go beyond that. If you've gone beyond that, just stay. If you're done, just let me know on the chat, so then I will proceed. But if you're not done and you need time, let me know how much time you need. Trying to access the results. All good? Everyone completed? Okay. Let me give you the next. Thank you, Rajeshwari, for letting me know. You can scan this, but they should be related though. And if you're not able to access Mentimeter, please put it in the chat. It's equally better. Yeah, okay. So some of you are saying, okay, so one of you wants to learn a new language because you want to build a successful business. Wonderful. The more you have clarity on the goal, the more you have clarity on the goal, you can be very focused on what skills I need. Then you don't get overwhelmed that, oh, I have to learn this, I have to learn this, I have to do so many things, but I have assignments, I have exams. We get overwhelmed, right? So if you can go down, break it down to that detail and have that clarity, fantastic. Now, for those that do not have it yet, nothing is lost. This is a journey. So you're going to figure it out, right? Okay. Anyone else that wants to add on the chat? And let me know if this QR code is working. Can I proceed? Now, any thoughts? I know I already got one response on this, but any thoughts now on what skills do you need? Let's say in general, if you don't know the goal, and if you know the goal, then what are some of the skills? You can be generic and just share with me what you think, and then I'll show you what we can talk about. After lunch, everyone is a bit sleepy. Can we have a few words? What do you think are some of the essential skills that you need today? Okay. Now, the first category, fantastic. Novita said public speaking, fantastic. And that comes under the communication bucket. Rajeshwari, don't stop learning and always be curious, fantastic. In fact, I recently attended a session and we had 60-year-olds there trying to sign up for programs. And then someone said, learning becomes a habit. And you have to make it a habit because things are changing so fast around us. Today, maybe you're doing your bachelor's in computer science, maybe you're doing your bachelor's in business administration, specializing in artificial intelligence. But 3 years down the line, there is something new. Then you may have to learn again. And that is what we all are continuously doing. As educators and trainers, we are constantly learning as well. Wonderful point, Rajeshwari. Now, we're saying communication, right? And this is one bucket, but this is a very large bucket. Now, one of you said public speaking. Yes, it is important if that is the goal. If I want to be a public speaker, if I want to be someone who hosts events, I want to be an MC, or, I want to do trainings and workshops, then maybe it's important. So what about those that feel, no, I'm very uncomfortable with public speaking? Does it mean that you can't do anything? No. And that's the point I'm coming to, that communication is a very large bucket. Public speaking, presentation skills, using social media. There are different ways through which we communicate. Remember that. So if you're not good at one, please don't give up. Please don't say, no, I'm not good at communication. Never say that. Discover what form of communication really works for you. Some of you may say, I prefer writing emails. I prefer sending texts on WhatsApp rather than speaking. So I don't want to do oral communication, but I'm okay to do written communication. Recognize that, because if you recognize that, you will build on that and try and communicate in that way, rather than say, have the negative thing that I'm not good at this. Yeah. Now, a lot of us, ever since social media has come, a lot of people who say we are introverts, we are able to communicate on social media because, we are not being seen. I don't like going to network at conferences and big crowds and, that socializing. But you put me in a classroom with even 400 or 600 students, I'm okay. So maybe it is the topic that gets you interested. So remember, communication is multiple forms. You also know verbal, non-verbal. Verbal is when we have to use words. But what if my vocabulary is poor? Yes, it's good for me to build my vocabulary. But till then, I'll use my body language. I'll have a nice warm smile. So people, when they see me, would want to talk to me. Correct? So work on the non-verbal communication skills. That is what I want to emphasize here. But to do that, you first have to figure out which of these work for me, which of these I'm not so good at. Maybe I'll continue working, but how do I leverage my strengths? Am I making sense? Everyone with me? You can use the Zoom reaction buttons so I know. Okay? Good. So when we talk some of the common communication tools that we say writing, now you're all students, obviously there are a lot of written assignments and writing becomes, it's one of the key learning outcomes. So yes, that is an important way of communication. But we also see there is a lot of casual writing, writing of emails, business communication. I'm sure you all do a module on that. Communication through social media. What if you're interning in a company that wants you to manage their social media and they want you to write posts on the social media? That's a different form of communication, right? Using social media in general to kind of position who you are, what you're doing, if you're looking for a job or you want to connect with me. Let's say some of you have now seen me, you want to connect with me on LinkedIn. What are you going to write? That is also right. Yeah. So use social media to communicate. Those of you who feel we are shy and introverts, that's one-on-one. You're sending a private message. Presentation skills. How would you all rate yourself on your presentation skills? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least, 10 being the most. What do you think? Anyone? No? No comments or no rating? Aditya, Narendra, I see so many names now. They were hidden in my view. Titi. Okay. The question I asked is, how would you all rate your presentation skills? On a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the least, 10 being the most. I'm just using presentation skills as an example for now. Yeah. All right. Somebody has given themselves a 9. What about the others? Okay. Someone is saying 5. Good. Anyone else? Now, it was not the right question for me to ask. It was not the right question for me to ask because I didn't tell you what is the context. Your presentation skills matter depending on where you're presenting, who is your audience, what is the topic, what is the context. Now, today I'm talking to you all, so I'm doing this, taking you through slides and so on. But in my regular classes, when I'm teaching them about a research method and so on, my presentation skills are different. Again, this is something I want you all to think about. What are the presentation skills I need? If I'm presenting my project for my lecturer who's given us a project, how should I present? If I'm presenting my research work, how should I present? If I'm doing public speaking, maybe to the entire university, how should I present? So remember, there is a lot more detail in that. So dig down and see. But yes, again, recognize, rate, see what areas, which context. We will always find an area that we are good at. And I want you to hold on to that and get better and better at that. Okay? I talked about verbal and non-verbal. Verbal is when we are using our words. Like right now, what I'm doing is a verbal communication. Non-verbal, let's say you're speaking and I'm listening to you, then my body language, my arms, my eyes, the attention that I'm giving you, that is non-verbal. All right? So even without using words, we can be communicating by showing the other person how much interest we are taking in what they're trying to do. You all would have heard of active listening, right? Maybe you're working on a team project or you're listening to your lecturer. I know lectures sometimes can become too heavy and you switch off. But give whoever you're listening to, give them that attention. Active listening means you're really listening to them. That helps you to learn and that allows you to respond. You automatically become a better communicator if you listen to the other person. Okay? All of you with me, right? What do you think the next bucket is? Any guesses? Anyone wants to guess what's the next bucket? No idea? Digital literacy. Yeah? Now, again, what I mean by this, if you know where you want to be, what you want to do, oh, I want to do marketing, I want to work with a marketing firm, then what are the digital literacy skills? I mean, again, a very large bucket. But some of the key skills that you need to build are familiarizing yourself with the latest tools and technology. What is the latest thing that is happening in education that students are using? Don't tell me you don't know. I'm sure you all know. I'm sure you all have used it. What is the AI tool that all of you have been using? Right? ChatGPT. Yes, it is good. It is good to go explore and use these new tools. Then you're staying current. Yeah, so you know what is there. Yes, maybe you're not allowed to use it to write your assignments and so on, but at least you know what the tool is capable of doing. You're aware of it. A lot of this office productivity tools, good Microsoft skills, good Excel, spreadsheets, simple database tools. This is all called productivity software. In fact, setting up your email, sending out calendar invites, accepting calendar invites. These are all very, very simple skills, but very essential in a workplace. Yeah. Sadly, lot of people come into the workplace without having these skills. Yeah. That is the productivity tools. That is how workplace really runs. So if you find a productivity tools book for dummies or something like that, pick that up and learn all of the Office suite of software, what is regularly used in any workplace today. Get familiar with that. Maximize all of those tools. You don't have to go too technical if you're not a technical person. If you are a technical person, there are new coding platforms. Please go, feel free and explore. But you're not a technical person. But you should know, okay, what are the cloud softwares? How do I use App Store? How do I put my files on a shared drive? These are some digital literacy skills. Okay? How will you learn these skills? Any thoughts? How will you learn these skills? Anyone wants the mic? I'm happy to give you the mic, yeah? Okay, we'll come to the how part in the next slide. By exploring, yes, of course, exploring yourself. And that does take time, right? To explore by yourself. And I'm sure your students, you have 4 or 5 subjects every term. Time is limited, correct? So you want to be strategic about it. You can't say, I want to learn everything. I mean, I want to learn everything and I wish I had the time, right? But it's not possible. We have to be practical. We have to be realistic. That's why I started with what is your goal? If you know that, or what are your likes? What are your preferences? If you know that, then you can align the skills with that and be strategic. That first, let me learn or let me get better at creating videos, because that's where I want to intern, or that's the kind of work I want to do. Yeah. I also want to work on my writing skills, but let me wait because I don't have time right now. I have a lot of other work. So let me first finish that. Then I sign up. You can go sequential. That's one way. The second way, okay, I won't jump into the ways. Let's look at the last bucket and then come to it. Any guesses what is the last bucket? You have an idea now? No? Want me to just say it? And this is also the challenge, basically. So whatever is here, while these are skills, that also is the challenge. Now, we want to do so many things. Things are changing so fast around us. I have assignments. I have projects. You play a sport, so you want to spend some time training on the sport, or you're doing a craft and art, and you want to practice that. There are so many things that you're doing on a daily basis. Am I right? Yeah. So time management, how am I going to find time to do all of this? And suddenly it's exam time, then you have to finish assignments, then you have to study for your exam. Maybe there is one subject that you really don't like, and all this leads to stress. That's something that every individual, be it a student or an adult, everybody faces that. So these are also some of the skills. Do not ignore this. How do I manage my time? And that's where I said sometimes you have to be strategic. You have to tell yourself, I cannot do 4 things giving 100%. I might do 3 things 100%, and the 4th thing I will probably just give 70%, and that's okay. Yeah. So then you reduce the stress. I like this, I'll give it my 100%, because this, I want to show it to my potential employers. That is strategic. Okay. This, I'm just doing it because it is a required subject, but I don't understand that subject. That subject doesn't interest me, but I have to clear it. So let me spend just enough time to get that done. And finally, balanced lifestyle. What I mean by this is figuring out what activities keep you sane, what activities you like to do apart from all the learning. If it aligns with the learning, etc., it's good. But a balanced lifestyle, focusing on my health, spending time with my friends, going and playing something, going clubbing, whatever that interests yourself, keeping that balanced lifestyle. Yeah. These are also skills. Trust me. You may say that why is this under skills? This is a skill. How you can stay disciplined, how you can organize yourself so you don't get stressed. That is also a skill. Okay? All good? Everyone still with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Nice to hear a voice on the other side. Good. And remember, these 3 buckets that I've shared here are generic skills. Okay? Apart from your domain. What do I mean by domain? I mean, I'm sure one of you is doing a bachelor's in business administration. Some of you are doing maybe a bachelor's in computer science or whatever. You're all pursuing different degrees, different specialization. That is your domain. So that you're anyway learning, part of your education, right? But these are the additional skills. And we'll talk about this when we're talking about personal branding, how these additional skills help you package yourself differently. So the employer chooses you over someone else. Okay, so I'm not dismissing the domain skills. Now, how to acquire these skills? These are just some of the tips that I'm sharing here, but this should give you a head start on thinking, oh, how can I be more strategic? Okay. Learning strategies is more about figuring out how you learn. Are you a person who likes to listen to learn something? Are you a person that has to do something and then you learn? or you want to watch something, then you learn, figure that out. What kind of a learner am I? And then use that method to learn. Like someone said, exploring myself, meaning I'll go sign up for a course, I'll see how it goes, and then I'll learn. Yeah, I like to cook, so I'll just find a recipe and I want to go do and cook. But someone else will say, I like to cook, but let me watch 50 videos of that recipe first, then I will go and cook. That is your learning strategy. Yeah, so figure out what is your learning strategy, because then you're more effective. You won't go sign up for a class which has all discussion and it's online and it doesn't work for you. But for some of you who say, no, I'm very comfortable with online and Zoom, I want to learn like that, that is perfect. Yeah. Second way is start getting more creative in your class assignments and presentations. You're anyway doing some work over there, right? And you want to learn how to use this particular new tool or a game or a simulation, then make that part of your assignment. So not only will you get extra marks for that assignment because you went out of the box, but you're also learning a new skill. Now, I often see that, students go very safe and they want to just submit the assignment, without taking any chances. But talk with your lecturers, ask them, can I do this? I think if I do this, I learn this, I've been excited to learn this tool, and I think it will make my presentation interesting. So make your assignment submissions a little more creative, so you're also learning these new tools, okay? Plenty of additional courses. In fact, so much that it can overwhelm you. And that is why in the next slide, I'll tell you what you can do to not get caught in the web of courses that are there. Yeah. So please don't overwhelm yourself by saying, I want to do this and this and that and that. No, it is not going to work because you have to focus somewhere. Yeah. Having special interest groups. I mean, you're all in a university already, right? But today, if you know, getting admissions into university for high school students, they are asked to show what they have done. I'm seeing students in high school do this. They're setting special interest group. Everybody wants to talk about how we can leverage ChatGPT the best, or what can we do about AI in culinary skills? How can we use artificial intelligence in cooking, for instance? And you set up a small group. You all meet once in 2 weeks or once in a month, have some coffee, spend some time discussing this. Everyone can share what they did. You're doing something that you like, but you're also learning something from that. Yeah. It could also be just a WhatsApp group. And as and when you all find something new, you share that. So you're doing this. And this is something you can show your potential employers. Look, my interest is in this area. I love digital marketing. I've always liked marketing. And I set up this special interest group. That special interest WhatsApp group has 100 members. We discuss so many things. Then your employer knows that this person takes ownership. This person takes effort to pursue and learn what he or she is interested in. Yeah, you can create these groups on any social media also now. We have so many platforms. Again, be focused, align with your interests, align with your likes, with your strengths. And maybe sometimes you can do it to align with your gaps also. I want to do that. I mean, I want to do events, but I'm scared of public speaking. That's a gap, right? So let me go start a group with similar people who are having the fear of public speaking, and let's see what we can do. That is also a fantastic idea. Yeah, the point is to take ownership. Okay. Events, reading books. If you're someone who learns a lot by reading books, then that is one thing to do. Look out for events in that area. Plenty of event companies allow you to subscribe to these events or talks or lectures. So you can sign up for specifically those kind of events. Remember, again, don't overwhelm yourself by attending everything. Yeah. So be strategic, be focused, because time is limited and we want to have fun as we are learning, right? All good? Everyone still with me? Okay. What do you think are some of the challenges and hurdles here? What are the challenges and hurdles you all face? I'd like to really hear from some of you on this. Because if you share, then, we can discuss that. Challenges and hurdles in pursuing or acquiring the skills that you think you need. What do you think? Anything comes to your mind? Okay. Someone says fear, maybe confidence, maybe self-esteem, okay? Competence. Okay, great. So competence is an ability while skills are a task. Yes, fantastic. So skill is something that I can go learn. Remember that always, that it is something that I can learn. It's not like if I don't have it today, I can never do that. I'm a bad driver. Doesn't mean you have to remain a bad driver. You can go practice and you can become a better driver. Sorry. Yeah. Competency also, in fact, as long as you're aware of what it is and what is it you lack, you can go fix it by learning. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all for sharing this. What else? What are some of the other challenges? I'm waiting for one word and I'm surprised it hasn't come up yet. What would be the biggest challenge? I did talk about it, Isa. Okay, if I say the word, will you all give a rating of what it is for you all? What about motivation? Is that a challenge and a hurdle sometimes? You can give me a number to what extent you agree with me. Again, scale of 1 to 10. Sometimes, right? Yeah, sometimes. Like I'm doing a course, this is the core module, but I really don't enjoy that module. I have to still do that, right? So sometimes it can be motivation. Comfort zone, fantastic. Yeah, a lot of times we get so comfortable doing what we like to do. So comfortable doing what we are good at doing. So we don't want to address that gap. Yeah, good. So how will you push yourself out of comfort zone then? And again, for students, I always tell my students, pushing yourself out of comfort zone, do it in the class assignments. While you're studying, the university, I think, is the most forgiving place for you to challenge yourself, to try out new things. Don't wait for you to do at the workplace because you don't know what kind of a workplace you're getting into. Try it all now. Okay? Still waiting. I'm waiting for that one word. Either you all are very good at it and I'm very bad at it. No? Okay. Just some that I have compiled in addition to what you all have shared with me. Time is always the issue, right? Because I want to do so many things. We obviously want to spend time watching Netflix, watching a movie, spend time with our friends. We want to have that unwinding time, and then we want to do very well in our schoolwork and classwork, and then we have other skills, So time is always an issue. We talked about it in time management. Resources. What I mean by resources, it covers what you all mentioned about internal resources. And internal resources include motivation, drive, competence, ability to stay focused. How quickly am I able to read? How quickly am I able to comprehend? Or my fear in terms of going or taking ownership to go find a course and enroll for it. These are internal resources. But there's also external resources, which means money. Yeah, sometimes I want to do that course, no, but you're charging so much. Again, time is also a resource. So resources can also be a challenge. This course is there, but I have to travel for 2 hours to reach there. So it doesn't make sense. I can't do that. So all of this comes under resources. Yeah, what you can do, maybe an alternative is to find online kind of resource for that. So the suggestion then I have, and this is something I want you all to pay attention to, is you will feel at times, I don't know what to do. Meaning there are 5 courses. I found 5 courses. I don't know which to select. That's a very common challenge that students would face. I face even now. Yeah. So remember to seek guidance. Remember to ask a mentor or have mentors. It's okay if the university is offering counseling, go talk to the counselor. I like this, but I'm not sure, should I do this or not do that? It's okay to have those questions. In fact, it is good to have those questions because you're exploring. Okay? Mentor, who can be your mentor? Maybe one of the professors, one of the lecturers who understands you, who said that, okay, Novita, you're good at this. Then you ask, ma'am, can you mentor me? I want to make a decision. Okay, to seek that. Yeah. Guidance. You know someone in the industry. You want to be in aviation. So go find someone in aviation. You all have LinkedIn. Find out who is in aviation, maybe in your area, do a search, link up with those people and ask their guidance. What skills do you think I need to actually get into aviation? So seek guidance, seek mentoring, work with counselors. It will always give you more clarity rather than you get overwhelmed. Don't think that you have to do all of this alone. All right? Okay, good so far? 2 minutes and then I'll give you all a break. Okay, so I have a very interesting question. That is it possible to have a goal, and while we are pursuing that goal, it becomes very hard for us to commit to it or continue working on that goal because it's challenging you a lot, or it's, you know, you have to put a lot of effort. You like it, you're deeply interested, yeah, and still you're avoiding it. You're not able to hold on to the goal. Definitely, a goal can be an easy goal or a difficult goal depending on what we're setting, yes, and sometimes the goal may not be difficult, goal may be easy, but my situation keeps changing. Suddenly I have to help out at family, or suddenly, you know, I have to help out more at work. There's a new project, so I'm getting deviated from my goal. So either internal or external circumstances can impede our progress to that goal. Yes, it is possible. So what can you do? Again, if you ask me, it will be strategic. Be strategic, prioritize. Is it possible for me to pursue this goal? What are the aspects that are actually making it difficult for me? List them down. When we put things on the paper, they sound more easy to tackle than when it is in your head. When it is in our head, it's so complex and we feel, oh, this, there, that, there, I have to do this. List them down on the paper and you'll see probably there are 4 things. Let me break them down. For thing number 1, I can do this. For thing number 2, let me go talk to someone. Thing number 3, maybe I don't have time, I will not do it now. Yeah. So adjust your goals also accordingly. Yeah. This is always something that's evolving. And remember, that's why we said these additional skills of your balance and lifestyle also makes a lot of difference. What kind of people you're surrounding yourself with? Are they motivating you? Are they positive, giving you that energy? Or it is something that's dragging you down? Then you have to evaluate that as well. Okay, thank you for the question, and I hope I answered it. All right, so this will be our second bit. And this is what I want to leave you all with. Of course, we'll talk about it before I give you a break. What is personal branding? Now, this is me. This is maybe Novita. And these are my skills. I'm really good at this. I really like this. Now, how do I position myself to my employer? Because maybe there are 100 digital marketing graduates this term. But how do I tell my employer that, no, I am the best candidate for the job because I have loved digital marketing for 4 years. I've done this. It is not enough to just do those degrees, right? You'll show the paper, okay, but you have to position yourself as well. And that is personal branding. Okay? So we take a quick 5 minutes break, if that's okay with you all, and I'll see you all in 5 minutes, 3:07, or let's make it 3:10 your time. Okay, see you all. Thank you.
Okay, for everyone, if you have any question for the speaker, please add them in the chat or you can raise your hand. Yeah, we will answer in 3:10 p.m. Thank you.
Novita,
Pardon?
yeah, I saw that question you asked about that lecturer from law faculty. I'm not
Yeah.
sure I understood the question. Can you help me clarify?
Clarify. for the question?
Yeah, I'm a lecturer from the law faculty at the university. I will ask in my classes how do teachers improve student abilities to have questioning skills, in the sense that he wants to encourage students to ask questions, right?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So I'll answer that when we resume back, yeah, at 3:10. All right. I hope you all are back. We have a few questions in the chat, so I'd like to take that in now. So I see one comment on, for now I'm focused on my personal branding in TikTok because I hope I can have my money in TikTok account. All right, okay. So yeah, you can use social media for personal branding. In fact, that's one of the slides we have. That's what most of us do today. If you all remember, you know, during the COVID phase, you would have heard this term called gig economy. In fact, I did a lot of sessions for a lot of universities talking about how we can get into gig economy when things are not working. You know, the hospitality industry was shut down. So there was students who started cooking at home, promoting what they're doing on TikTok and so far, and so on. Different channels to make money and also build your own brand so you can show this to your potential employer. Okay. Now there was this question from a lecturer from the law faculty. To the best of my understanding, if I understood correctly, you want to know how to get students to ask questions. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I understood. Now, learning process, if I look at learning strategies, what I mentioned earlier, some of us learn by asking questions. And those are the students that you will see in your class also asking questions, because that's how they process. Some may not even know what they don't know. So what question to ask? So it's not necessary that everyone knows what question to ask. If they knew, yes, it will help in the learning process. So what will these kind of learners do? These kind of learners go back home, read, as you give them their quiz or a class test or any assessment, then they reflect and they learn. And then the question might come. And then they go find the answers to the question themselves. So it's okay if some of the students are not asking. If they're not asking because they're shy, then that is something, we know as lecturers, we can become friendly, make it approachable. And some want to ask you the question one-on-one and so on, so give that one-on-one consultation. But otherwise, I feel not all learners learn in the same way. We know the Cope's learning theories. So most in fact, are reflective learners. I was always a reflective learner. I never asked a question in class, never. I'll come back home when I have to study, write the exam, then the questions come, then I go find the answer myself. So we just encourage that. I hope I answered your question. Now, the next comment was, if resources minimal, but we have time and guidance, how to get maximum. Sorry, again, I didn't get the question much. But you're saying your resources are limited. Again, we need to see if these resources are internal resources, that is my drive and motivation, or external resources, then we can figure it out. You have time and guidance. Yeah. How to get maximum. Sorry, your question, I'm not sure I understood correctly. But if you have the time and guidance, you can utilize that to see how you can get the best out of those minimum resources. Yeah, that's the purpose of the guidance and mentoring that you can get. Again, let me know if I understood your question correctly. If you want to unmute and speak, then that will help me understand your question better. Okay. How to encourage your students to unlock the potential in them? Fantastic. Motivation, seriously. And this comes when you get students to reflect by asking them questions that they would not have thought of. That, what is it that you like? Sometimes it can be a very simple question, but that can get them to think along what they are good at. A lot of times we don't unlock potential when we don't know that we have that potential. Like I said, we don't know what question to ask. Yeah. But let's say a student is submitting a work. You first validate that work. You know what? There's so many ideas that you have put into this work. You're telling the student that you have a lot of thinking going on. They would not have realized that. What I need you to do, however, is learn to structure these ideas. So you're validating, giving them a positive, getting them to focus on their strength. Then they start unlocking that potential. Then they also say, oh, okay, I got the ideas. Now I have to learn how to structure. Rather than just see the score of 70 on 100 and get demotivated. So I feel encouraging comes when you're giving that individual personalized kind of feedback and attention, validate what is good, and then give that constructive feedback. It's all about motivation and asking the right question. Okay. So just a few more minutes, I'll talk about personal branding, and then I'm happy to open up to any other questions that come up. You can unmute as well. Is that okay? Can I proceed, everyone? All good?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Right. So just an example, not that I want you all to copy this, but what is personal branding? It is about, now I've just interacted with you all for just an hour plus, right? I see a few names in my chat. Now I already have an impression of these people. That's personal brand, meaning the impressions that we are making on people around us. Sometimes it is intentional. I'm here. I'm trying to speak to you all. I want you all to listen to me and to learn from me and enjoy what I'm talking about, right? It's an intentional effort. But sometimes without trying, we are also creating an image for ourselves. That's personal branding. Each one of us has a brand. Each one of us has a brand. Remember that. Now, what is important is for you to take control of the brand. Not let people decide what you are, but you decide, what am I? Who am I? How am I going to project myself? Okay. So let's say you say, I'm a very friendly person. I'm a very approachable, friendly person. But then every time you're going sitting like this with a serious glum face, how do people know you're friendly? Right? So what we are, first of all, discover who am I, what I want to be, and am I projecting that right image? What kind of an impression? There are some tools. I think I have those slides also. It's called the 3-word test. Describe yourself in 3 words. You can try that out now. It'll be fun. If some of you want to do it, describe yourself in 3 words. Can you all do that? So Novita, that was a question related to something previously, is it? And how often do you try new things? Anyone wants to try? How do you describe yourself in 3 words? It could be hardworking. I saw one of your responses in the Mentimeter, and that was fantastic. Very nicely done. Okay, like I said, continue. Wonderful. Perfectionist, disciplined, serious type person. Good. Good. Now imagine these are adjectives. This is your identity. This is what you feel you are, right? So if you're calling yourself a perfectionist, which may be good and bad, not always a good thing, then how do I showcase that in my brand? How do I showcase that in the work that I deliver, in the assignments that I do? Yeah. Discipline. If you are disciplined, then again, how am I showcasing that? How can I tell my employer, potential employer, if I put a statement there that is not sufficient, right? I can use any kind of words for myself, but what about my personality also shows that I'm a perfectionist and I'm a very disciplined person. I study 2 hours, I play for 2 hours, I practice my music for 2 hours every day. That is what we want to achieve, okay? And this is that packaging. Remember, I said domain expertise you all have. You're doing your degrees, you're getting that qualification. But the rest of the skills that we talked about help you package this. So you're positioning yourself as a package to that potential employer for the career that you want to pursue or the goal that you want to achieve. And that is personal branding. It's not just the academic qualification, okay? So what I wanted to leave you all with today is attempt to write your personal brand statement. This is important. Not only the 3 words. Now I asked you, what are the 3 words you use to describe yourself? But that question can be asked to people you know also. Go ask your lecturers. Can you describe me in 3 words? You look at your own 3 words, you look at the 3 words that the lecturer is using for yourself, go ask your friends, your colleagues what they think, what are the 3 words they would use to describe you, maybe your parent. And then you compare the words. then you know, is everybody seeing me as I am, or there is some kind of a conflict? If there is a conflict, maybe you have to relook. Am I positioning myself correctly? If I am a passionate educator, I call myself a passionate educator. Am I showing that passion? Right? I can't be teaching dull, this is to do, you have to do. Then I'm not passionate. I'm not showing that passion. Correct? And if I want to inspire lifelong learning, I have to show how I am pursuing lifelong learning. That is what it is about. So this brand statement gives you all a nice target that, yes, I want my degree. I want to get 80%. I want to be an honor student, but I want to position myself as this kind of a person. Yeah, this is who I am. This is what I want my personal potential employers to know about. So if you all are okay to attempt, you can do that now. Otherwise, you have the QR code. You can scan it and complete it on the Mentimeter. These exercises just make you pause and think, let me think, what is my overall goal? A lot of times we are chasing things. We don't have time to even pause and think, what am I chasing? So this is the time to take that 5 minutes and say, let me write about myself. Once you have your brand statement, reinforce it. Keep it here always. It will help you to be strategic. Is this aligning with my goals? How much time should I spend here? Is this aligning? To what extent and how much time should I spend? Gives you that balance, gives you the time management, and keeps you focused on your goal as well. Okay? So there's a continuation. Yes, sometimes the attributes makes me postpone to achieve. Yes. Perfectionism. I mean, some of you call yourself as perfectionists. Yes, it is not always a good thing to have. A lot of our attributes may not always be positive. And it's good. It's good that you're recognizing it. Then you adjust yourself. So you don't want to be called as someone who is very particular. You know, we call it perfectionism, but you go into workplace and someone will say, she's so picky about this. Everything was tidy, but she wanted to organize it again. Yeah, we don't want to be called that way. So again, be strategic. Where should I use my perfectionism? If it's something that's representing my work, my identity, then I want it to be perfect. But something's not very important, then learn to let it go. Okay, it's a good thing. The first start is that you're aware of it, and then you will take actions to get there. Again, talk to your counselor, guidance, mentor to ask how you can figure this out. Okay, so that's what I want you all to be able to do. I have shared a couple of examples, so please go, feel free to write that. Now, I'll quickly run through these tools that you can also use. This is the 3-word test that I said. Describe yourself, ask someone else to describe, and then you see, is it all aligned? Now, brand is that sweet spot. We say it is that sweet spot. It combines, it includes what you are, your identity. Remember, we're all very different individuals. It includes your likes and dislikes, the first few questions that I asked, your skills and your strengths, and then given the job that I want to do, what is my brand? So it sits at that center. If you know that, you have that in your grasp, that this is what I want to position, or this is the slight thing that I want to develop. Maybe I have to let go and not be 100% perfectionist. I have to reduce it to 80% so I'm more efficient as well. Okay. The pyramid is also something that helps you arrive at your brand statement. It helps you list out what are the things that matter to you. What are your values? What's my upbringing? In my family, what is valued? Respect for elders, hard work, worship, being religious. It can be anything. So what are the values? What are the drivers? Someone was asking, right? How do you encourage students? These are kind of exercises that get your students thinking. At least they know where they are, and then they have a clear goal as to where I want to be. Then things become more clearer. Yeah. A lot of times when we don't have clarity on the goal is when the action is limited, or you see confusion. So these simple exercises, games, will get them started thinking and help motivate students. What are your drivers? Some of us feel, oh, no, money is my driver. You give me more money, I'm willing to learn anything and work as hard as ever. Some will say, no, recognition. Please, I need to feel that I'm doing good to something. I'm contributing back to the society. Reputation, for some of us, the reputation, the title, like I really admire the title that I have. I like that I'm called doctor, right? For some of us, it could be that reputation. She's a very good person, so on. Behavior. Now, whatever is at the bottom of the pyramid, one of you added that skills are something we can acquire. So remember, top of the pyramid are something that we grow up with, things around us, how we've been raised. So it's slightly difficult to kind of change your values. But behavior, skills, strength, image are something that we can work on. That is what it is. Is network important? Fantastic, Novita. Yes, networking is very important for your branding too, right? Again, networking, how do you want to network? Look back at your likes and dislikes, strengths. Am I okay being in big crowds? Perfect. Do attend conferences. Make use of those networks. Position yourself correctly. But for people who say, no, I'm very shy, I don't like, then use social media to do your networking. For networking, also be strategic. And I'm saying this because today we all spend a lot of time on our devices. We are part of so many groups, whether you like it or not. You're in so many WhatsApp groups, so many LinkedIn groups, and so on. It can overwhelm you. Yeah, so be strategic. Which groups are important? Which groups are adding value to my brand? Now, that's the personal brand statement. That's the important. If this is my brand statement, these 4 networks are good for me. Those 4 groups are just taking up too much time. I will not spend time on it. So good point, Novita. In fact, when I do the session on personal branding, I add networking as well. And in networking, we also talk about elevator pitch. Yeah, I thought the content was getting too much, but anyone interested in knowing what elevator pitch is, drop me a note and I'll send that deck or some of the resources on that. Thank you, Novita. Also important to identify your uniqueness. Now remember, if 200 of you are graduated with a bachelor's in marketing degree, then why should the employer pick you and not someone else? That's because you're unique. And how are you unique? These additional skills, that entire package that you bring to the table, that not only do I have a degree in digital marketing, but I have that I'm a very fast learner, that I like experimenting with new tools. I pick up new tools very quickly. I'm not scared to try out these new tools to see how effective they are, and so on. So I'm a fast learner, I'm a very enthusiastic learner, etc. That is my package. Yeah. So uniqueness, we use this framework called RIN analysis. Again, I'm not taking you all in detail. The slides will be shared with you. So you can practice this, complete this, and find out what is rare, what is inimitable about you. What is it that you have and the others don't have? And it may not be only 1 or 2 things. It's usually a combination of things that people can't replicate. If you just say, I'm hardworking, 100 other people will say they're hardworking, but you'll say, I'm hardworking, I'm a very fast learner, I'm very innovative, very innovative, I love to write. That combination is what makes you unique. Remember that. And dress the part, meaning that's the job that I'm looking for. So how do I carry myself? How do I project that? How do I project that to my network? If I have a group and I'm sharing all this interesting stuff, I don't want to share it like I'm showing off, right? I see this is the award that I got. I want to show off that I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to build a community to help each other learn, and so on. So the way we look and sound, the way we write our emails, the way we speak, the tone, all of these also matters. In fact, the way we walk, yeah, even that matters. The way we stand when we're talking to each other, video etiquettes, I'm on video. So what am I doing with my arms? What is my body language? What is the tone? All of this contributes to your personal image. Yeah, there's plenty of help or videos or guides on the internet today to help with personal images. If you have the resources, you can even engage someone. But if not, there's free resources out there. This is also something you can talk with your mentor that I want to feel confident. I want to dress in a way that makes me confident. What can I do? Yeah. So yes, our personal appearance, our grooming, all of this adds to that package of personal branding. Okay, including body language. We already talked about this, the non-verbal skills, head movements, facial expressions. And this is a social media bit that I was talking about. Someone's asking, how about SWOT analysis? Oh, yes. So you can happily use a SWOT analysis. In fact, the detailed session that I do is called Executive Presence, where you see all the strategy frameworks are applied to individuals. The whole concept of personal brand, right? We use branding to brand products, how to build a brand or advertise a brand for a car or a food product. That's the same thing that we are doing here for us as an individual, and that's what your career branding skills also should be. How do I position myself to build that career or to achieve that goal that I want to achieve? So definitely you can use a SWOT for yourself and see where you stand and how you want to address the opportunities and threats. So that's all I have for you today. Happy to stay and take as many questions as you have. I have a slide here on the resources that I've taken from, so feel free to explore them. I'll send across the tech. Yeah. So folks, education is very important, gives you that platform, that opportunity, a safe platform where you can explore and bring all these skills together. While the degree is important, the domain skills are important, focus on these others to build that beautiful package that is you, so you position yourself correctly too, or for whatever purpose you wished. Thank you. Questions?
Is it enough, Miss?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, for our audience, if you want to ask question, you can raise your hand or you can write in the room chat. Okay, for first question, we have question from audience in the YouTube. I will copy paste in the chat Zoom. This is question from Mr. Prabu. Sorry, Prayogo. Thank you.
See, this is a wonderful question. I hope everybody can see the chat. It's like we always get overwhelmed. Like I said, you know, we have the feeling, oh, there's ChatGPT, I want to go learn ChatGPT. Then somebody shares, oh, you know what, there are 10 other AI tools. And I myself feel, oh my God, when am I going to try out all these 10 tools and find? I want to find out, right? But there's not enough time. So the question here is, should I focus on one skills or multiple skills? I would go with the goal. What is your goal? Why do you want to learn these skills? How important are these skills or that one skill to the goal that you want to achieve? So for some of us, it is like, you know, a 2-year goal or a 3-year goal. For students, maybe it's a 5-year goal. So set that goal. And depending on that goal, is this skill necessary for me at the moment? And to what depth do I need to go? If the depth is required, then obviously you're focusing on one skill, you cannot do 10 other things. But if you want a general awareness, like I did with the AI tools, I've not had time to play with them in detail, but I wanted the general awareness because students start asking you questions. So I did just spend 30 minutes, got an overview, talked to a few people, and we focused. So to answer your question, Mr. Prayogo, it really depends on what is that goal. And that's why if you see the first slide today, I started with what is that goal? Yeah. I hope I answered your question. Why does it occur when those who have find difficulty job? Fantastic question. Fantastic question. That's where that package really matters. That's where the package really matters. When we get a higher degree, we do learn knowledge. We get that knowledge. But how do I convince others that I have that knowledge? How good am I at applying that knowledge? And sometimes it's important for me to also share that knowledge, convert that knowledge into something that the workplace really needs. How am I demonstrating those skills? So again, go back to higher education is fine. What do I want to be? Do I want to be an academic? If I want to be an academic, what are the skills that I need to have? That's exactly the slides I took you through. And do I have those skills? Am I motivating? Am I able to inspire people? Then I go to that university and say, look, you hire me, I'm sure I'll get your graduates to get 80%. I'll inspire them or motivate them. Or I love doing research. I'm going to write so many papers because that's my strength. I don't want to do too much teaching. I don't like teaching. So let me do research. So knowing what you are, knowing your likes and dislikes will also help you go negotiate and look for the right job. It's always that package that matters. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Okay, how do we increase self-motivation? Because sometimes we cannot get out of comfort zone. Do we have to punish yourself so that we are more motivated? I somehow never look at it as a punishment. Okay, this is how I operate. I'm very positive driven. I have to be, right? I'm an educator. I work with learners all the time. And now I bring that onto myself, that I always focus on what I'm good at. And I don't say comfort zone. The challenge, I call it a challenge, in fact, that this is something I've not done before. Do I have the bandwidth to take up that challenge now? And one of the rules I put on myself, Novita, is that I tell myself never say no to any event. And that's how I take it up as a challenge. And because of that, I've explored so many topics. Yes, it was out of comfort zone. Yes, it took so much of time. But when the feeling that I walk away with, that feeling that I've done something different and I enjoyed that topic, that adrenaline rush is what makes me say, yes, next time. It's hard work. I know it. I know I won't sleep well, eat well for a week because it's a new topic. So rather than focus on, punishing, I would say focus on the feeling you get when you put yourself through that. Yeah, I know it's difficult, but I've achieved it. I've done it. So have some small rules for yourself. Never say no. Friend calls me out for tea. Let me look at the work. Set a deadline for yourself. These kind of small rules very helpful. Thank you for wonderful questions. Many people think we need to learn to get along with other people. People may not think, just go with the flow, have to avoid so we're not affected. A long question. I hope everybody is able to see the question. This is what I meant by being strategic with your networks. Yes? No, I will not say avoid your environment. We can avoid friends. We can't avoid family, right? But we have to be very aware who is positively influencing me. And when I meet with some people, I don't come back feeling great. So those can be avoided. Yeah, we can't always run away. If you're working somewhere, you're going to your university, you meet some people, it may not be. If you have the choice, be strategic about it. If you don't have a choice, then you have to have an iron wall. It's practice. It's really practice how to stay positive. But a lot of times I feel we can be strategic in who I want to spend time with, who I do not want to spend time with. To what extent am I going to let someone influence the way I think? The fact that you're even asking me the question tells me that you're aware of it. And that's a wonderful thing. You're aware. Now, don't hesitate to act it. If you have to refuse a few friends or gatherings or birthday parties, let it be. Let it be. I'm not known as a very friendly person in my social circle, by the way. Really. I think my students love me more than my friends. But it matters to me what kind of a group am I with? How do I leave that group? Do I leave with a smile on my face or feeling? Good question. To have a person, should we or ourselves become a perfectionist? No, please. To have a personal brand, should you become perfect? No. Personal brand is who you are here. It's your identity. It's your core. Remember, we all have a core, and we want you to recognize that core. If I'm a generalist, I'm not a perfectionist, really. I'm a generalist. I want to do 10 things, and I know I will do them only to 80%. But that gives me joy. So that is what I am. But for one of you, you feel that, no, I would rather do only 2 things well. That is what it is. That is your brand. That is what makes you different from me, right? Otherwise, we are all the same. Then life is so boring. Correct? So it is not about trying to be a perfectionist. It's about figuring out who you are and projecting that to the world. Okay? Tell me about a time when you struggled to collaborate with a team member that has different skills from you. How? I'm happy to share these stories. Yes, it has happened. It has happened. I have worked with team members that I didn't get along with. So for example, I'm very quick when I work. So when I type my emails, I normally don't, say hi and all. This is a regular colleague. So you're just replying that one-liner saying, yes, please, can you move it to 2 a.m. Or 2 p.m. or whatever that time is. And this colleague came back and said, you're so rude. She didn't tell me, but she went and complained that she's so rude. I said, rude? Because you don't acknowledge in the email, you don't say hi. I said, but I know you. We've worked together for 5 or 6 years. Is it important for me to say hi? Right? So that was there. They didn't like the tone in my email, whereas, nobody else has had a problem with. What did I do? Okay. So there was a time I would just let this go. I would complain and do nothing about it because it's a colleague. But at one point, I took a snapshot of this colleague's Skype messages. We used to use Skype for work at that time. I took a snapshot of the Skype messages and I wrote to her very nicely that, listen, I think I've tried my best to work with you. I really want to continue working with you. You're a fantastic team member. However, it is getting difficult because your messages are like this, because you fail to understand what I'm trying to bring. And what I'm doing now is taken a snapshot and I'm going to send this to HR and let them decide what is a good approach. And after that, things got better. I never shared that with HR. I never did that. But I did capture the screenshots and I made it a point to tell her that somewhere along professionalism matters. It's not about messages and so on, but how you're interpreting someone's messages. I hope that helps. Yeah. Any other questions? So you all have my email ID. Or reach me through Novita. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience, asking all these lovely questions and for listening to me. Perfect. I have some new LinkedIn connections. Thank you. Happy to stay connected with all of you. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. Thank you, Novita, for this opportunity. That's it from me.
Okay, thank you so much for the Dr. Mamata Bhandar for the wonderful information. Before I close this event, I will take a picture for documentation. For everyone, please open your camera. We will take a picture. Bagi para peserta, bisa dinyalakan terlebih dahulu untuk kameranya. Okay, I will count of 1, 2, 3. Once again, 1, 2, and 3. Smile. Okay, finally, we come to the end of visiting lecture today. We would like to say thanks for Dr. Mamata Bhandar, PhD, for the wonderful information. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. We hope this information will be beneficial for our audience. And I hope we can meet again at another event in the future, collaboration with Manipal Global Next University, Malaysia. Also, I would like to thank all for all participants for attending this webinar for attending this class today and making this even more interesting. At last, we hope to have more collaboration in the future. The visiting lecture for today and here. We hope to see you soon. Thank you and have a nice day for everyone.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone. Goodbye.